Emma Hastings arrived in Clearview, hopeful, but was met with a town submerged in floodwaters. Her fiancé, Thomas, was supposed to meet her at the station. No sign of him. No familiar faces. Just muddy streets and desolate buildings. She wandered the waterlogged streets, feeling lost. But then, through the murk, a rugged man on horseback appeared, resolute, observant, and offering help. She feared she was stranded. But destiny had a different plan. Before we continue, share where you're watching from and subscribe if you believe that destiny always finds its path. Emma Hastings arrived in the small town of Clearview. She stepped off the train with hope but found chaos instead. The flood had turned the town into a mess of water and mud. Buildings stood half submerged, streets looked more like rivers, and the air was heavy with dampness. Emma's heart sank as she surveyed the scene. Her fiancé, Thomas Whitaker, was supposed to meet her, but he was nowhere in sight. Emma clutched a damp letter in her hand. It was the last thing she had from Thomas. Her luggage, full of her belongings and dreams for a new life, was lost somewhere in the chaos. She felt alone and unsure as she began to wander the flooded streets. The water soaked through her shoes and the hem of her dress, chilling her to the bone. As she walked, she tried to find someone who could help her. But the people she saw were busy with their own troubles. They were trying to save what they could from the wreckage of their homes. Their faces were grim, etched with worry and loss. Emma felt invisible, just another person in a town overwhelmed by disaster. She paused for a moment, looking around at the devastation. The flood had changed everything. What was once a lively town was now silent, except for the sound of water lapping against buildings. Emma felt a pang of fear. She had come here to start a new chapter of her life, but now everything seemed uncertain. As night began to fall, Emma realized she needed to find shelter. The rain had stopped, but the sky remained overcast and threatening. She made her way to the old train depot, which appeared abandoned. Inside it was dark and cold, but it was dry. Emma sat down on a wooden bench, her body aching from the long journey and the stress of the day. She thought of Thomas, wondering where he could be. Her mind raced with possibilities, each one more troubling than the last. Was he safe? Had he been caught in the flood? The uncertainty gnawed at her, a constant reminder of how alone she felt. Emma tried to stay positive, telling herself that things would get better. She had faced challenges before and had always found a way through. But the weight of her situation pressed down on her, making it hard to hold on to hope. The depot, with its empty halls and echoing silence, only added to her sense of isolation. As the hours passed, Emma found herself drifting in and out of a restless sleep. The hard bench offered little comfort, and the cold seeped into her bones. She pulled her coat tighter around her, trying to find some warmth. Her thoughts drifted to the life she had planned with Thomas. She imagined the home they would build together, filled with laughter and love. But now that dream felt distant, almost unreachable. In the darkness, Emma heard the distant sound of voices. She sat up, listening intently. It was a group of townspeople, passing by the depot on their way to check on the damage. Their conversation was low and somber, filled with words of loss and uncertainty. Emma hesitated to call out to them, unsure if she should interrupt their grim task. The voices soon faded, leaving Emma alone once more. Her spirits sank further, and she fought back tears. She had come to Clearview full of hope, but now she felt lost and abandoned. The town, once a place of promise, seemed filled with shadows and unanswered questions. Emma knew she couldn't stay in the depot forever. She needed to find food and a safer place to stay. But the thought of venturing back into the flooded streets filled her with dread. She had no idea where to start looking for help, and the thought of facing more disappointment was almost too much to bear. As the night wore on, Emma's mind turned to survival. She couldn't let despair take over. She needed to be strong to find a way through the darkness. Her resolve hardened, and she decided she would seek help at first light. There had to be someone in the town who could guide her, someone who could offer a glimmer of hope. Emma leaned back against the bench, trying to rest her eyes. Her thoughts returned to Thomas, the man she had crossed miles to be with. She prayed he was safe, that he would find her, and that together they could face whatever challenges lay ahead. In the quiet darkness of the depot, Emma felt the weight of her journey. She was a stranger in a town that was itself a stranger to her, a place marked by loss and uncertainty. But she held on to the belief that somewhere in this chaos she would find her path forward. The hours passed slowly, each minute dragging into the next. Emma's body ached, her spirit weary. But as the first light of dawn began to pierce the gloom, she felt a flicker of hope. The new day brought with it the promise of possibility, a chance to start anew. Emma stood, stretching her stiff limbs. She knew she had to be brave to step out into the unknown and seek the help she needed. She clutched the letter from Thomas, hoping it would lead her to him. With determination, she left the depot, stepping into the misty morning air. The town of Clearview lay before her, its future as uncertain as her own. But Emma was ready to face whatever came next. She had survived the night, and with each step, she moved closer to finding her place in this changed world. Emma Hastings stepped out of the depot as dawn broke over Clearview. The town was quiet, the only sound the gentle lapping of water against the roads. Her heart felt heavy, but she knew she had to move. She needed to find food and someone who could help her. As she walked down the street, she saw the damage the flood had caused. Houses were half submerged and debris littered the area. People were beginning to emerge, assessing the damage and starting the difficult task of cleaning up. Emma watched them, wondering if any of them had seen Thomas. Her stomach growled, a reminder that she hadn't eaten since the day before. She needed to find something to eat soon. As she continued to walk, she heard the distant sound of hooves. The noise grew louder, cutting through the morning mist. Emma turned to see a man on horseback approaching. The rider came closer, his horse moving with ease through the shallow water. Emma felt a mix of relief and apprehension. She didn't know this man, but he seemed confident and in control. As he stopped in front of her, she noticed the scars on his face and hands. He looked like someone who had seen his share of battles. The man nodded to her, his expression serious. Without a word, he extended his hand, offering her a ride. Emma hesitated for a moment, unsure whether to trust him. But she had little choice. She was exhausted, hungry, and alone. She accepted his help, climbing up behind him on the horse. The man turned the horse around and they rode away from the town. Emma held on tightly, the movement of the horse unfamiliar to her. The rider was silent, focused on the path ahead. Emma wondered where he was taking her and why he had offered to help. They traveled for a while, moving away from the flood-hit areas. Emma watched the landscape change as they rode. The ground became drier and the trees thicker. It was a relief to be away from the water and the chaos of the town. Finally, they stopped at a small patch of dry land. The man dismounted and helped Emma down. She thanked him, her voice barely above a whisper. She was grateful for his help even though she didn't know why he had offered it. The man introduced himself as Lucas Kane. He was a ranger, he explained, though now he worked alone. His voice was calm and his presence steady. Emma felt a small sense of safety in his company. She couldn't explain it, but there was something reassuring about him. Lucas led Emma to a small clearing where they could rest. He offered her some food from his pack, a simple meal of bread and cheese. Emma ate gratefully, the food easing the ache in her stomach. She realized how tired she was, her body weary from the stress of the past day. As they sat together, Emma watched Lucas. He was a man of few words, but his actions spoke for him. He was careful and deliberate in his movements, his attention always on his surroundings. Emma wondered about the stories behind the scars on his face and hands. She had questions, but she hesitated to ask. After they ate, Lucas stood and looked around. The land was quiet, the trees gently swaying in the breeze. Emma felt a sense of peace here, away from the chaos of the town. She was grateful for the chance to rest, even if it was only temporary. Lucas told Emma they would head to his cabin. It was a modest place, but it offered shelter and safety. Emma agreed, relieved to have a destination. She felt a growing sense of trust in Lucas. He had helped her when she needed it most, and she was thankful for his kindness. They set off again, the horse moving steadily through the woods. Emma held on, feeling more secure with Lucas leading the way. She thought about the events that had brought her here, the journey she had made to be with Thomas. Now everything was uncertain and she didn't know what the future held. As they rode, Emma tried to focus on the present. She had survived the night and now she had a chance to regroup. She didn't know what had happened to Thomas, but she hoped for the best. She would stay with Lucas for now, until she could figure out her next steps. The ride to the cabin was quiet. The only sounds the horse's hooves and the rustle of leaves. Emma felt a sense of calm, the rhythm of the ride soothing her frayed nerves. She realized that for now, she didn't have to face everything alone. Lucas was there, silent but steady, offering her a lifeline. When they reached the cabin, Emma was surprised by its simplicity. It was small but sturdy, nestled at the edge of a forest. Lucas dismounted and helped Emma down. He led her inside, where it was warm and dry. The cabin was sparse, but it felt like a haven after the chaos of the flood. Lucas showed Emma a place where she could rest. She sat down, feeling the fatigue of the past days catch up with her. She was grateful for the shelter, for the chance to pause and breathe. Lucas busied himself around the cabin, tending to tasks with quiet efficiency. Emma watched him, grateful for his presence. She didn't know what the coming days would bring, but she felt ready to face them. With Lucas's help, she had found a place to regroup, a moment of peace in the midst of uncertainty. As evening fell, Emma felt a sense of hope. The day had brought unexpected challenges, but it had also brought her to safety. She knew she had a long way to go, but for now, she was content to rest and gather her strength. With Lucas's help, she was ready to face whatever came next. Emma settled into Lucas's cabin, grateful for the refuge it offered. The place was small with just the basics: a wooden table, a few chairs, and a small stove. There was a single bed in the corner, which Lucas insisted she use while he took a makeshift bedroll on the floor. The cabin was warm, and for the first time in days, Emma felt a sense of safety. Lucas was a man of routine. Each morning, he rose early, preparing simple meals and tending to chores around the cabin. Emma watched him, trying to find ways to help. She washed dishes, swept the floor, and did what she could to contribute. As the days passed, Emma began to notice the scars that lined Lucas's face and hands. They were signs of a past filled with danger and hardship. She wondered about the stories behind them, but Lucas never spoke of his past. Instead, he focused on the tasks at hand, moving with a quiet efficiency that spoke of years of discipline. Emma admired Lucas's strength and calm demeanor. He was a man who had clearly faced many battles, yet he carried himself with a quiet grace. She felt a growing sense of respect and gratitude for the stranger who had taken her in, offering her a safe haven when she had nowhere else to turn. In the evenings, they would sit by the fire, the warmth filling the small cabin. At first, their conversations were brief and practical, focused on the tasks of the day. But slowly, they began to open up to each other. Emma shared bits of her life, her journey to Clearview, and the dreams she had held for her future with Thomas. Lucas listened, his gaze steady as she spoke. He didn't offer empty words of comfort, but his presence was reassuring. Emma found solace in their quiet companionship, the shared silence a balm to her troubled mind. One evening, as the fire crackled in the hearth, Lucas began to speak. He told Emma about his time as a ranger, the dangers he had faced, and the scars he carried as reminders of battles fought and lost. He spoke without embellishment, his words simple and direct. Emma listened intently, understanding that each scar told a story of survival. She realized that Lucas's past was filled with loss and hardship, much like her own. She felt a connection to him, a shared understanding of what it meant to endure and keep moving forward. Lucas's story stirred something within Emma. She had been so focused on her own struggles that she hadn't considered the burdens others might carry. She felt a deep sense of empathy for Lucas, for the life he had lived and the battles he had faced. As the days turned into weeks, Emma and Lucas settled into a comfortable routine. They worked together to keep the cabin in order, their actions speaking more than words ever could. Emma felt a growing sense of belonging, a feeling she hadn't expected to find in this place. Though Lucas remained a man of few words, his actions were filled with kindness. He repaired a broken chair, fixed a leaky roof, and showed Emma small gestures of care. Emma, in turn, brought warmth to the cabin, adding small touches that made it feel like home. One afternoon, as they sat outside, Emma felt a sense of peace. The sun was warm and the air was filled with the scent of pine. She realized that, despite the uncertainty of her situation, she had found a place of refuge. The cabin, with its simple comforts, had become a sanctuary. Emma thought of Thomas, the life she had planned with him. She still held hope that he was out there, somewhere. But for now, she was content to stay with Lucas, to find strength in their shared journey. As the sun began to set, Lucas stood and stretched. He looked out over the forest, his expression thoughtful. Emma joined him, feeling a sense of contentment in the quiet moment they shared. She knew that her time with Lucas was temporary, a pause in the midst of a turbulent journey. But she also knew that she would carry the lessons she had learned here with her wherever she went. Lucas had taught her the value of resilience, of finding strength in the face of adversity. Emma felt a deep sense of gratitude for the stranger who had become a friend. She knew that, whatever the future held, she would always remember this time, the quiet moments of connection and understanding. As night fell, Emma and Lucas returned to the cabin. The fire crackled, casting a warm glow over the room. Emma felt a sense of peace, a feeling she hadn't experienced in a long time. She knew that, despite the uncertainty of the days ahead, she had found a place of rest and renewal. In the quiet of the cabin, Emma found hope. She knew that her journey was far from over, but she felt ready to face whatever came next. With Lucas by her side, she had found a strength she hadn't known she possessed. Together, they would continue on, finding their way through the challenges that lay ahead. As the floodwaters receded, Emma knew it was time to return to the town of Clearview. She needed to see what remained and to learn any news of Thomas. Lucas offered to accompany her. She was grateful for his presence, knowing that the town would be a difficult place to face alone. They set out from the cabin early in the morning. The path was easier now, the ground firm and dry after days of sun. Emma felt a mix of anticipation and anxiety as they approached the town. She hoped for answers but feared what she might find. Clearview was a place transformed. The streets, once rivers of mud, were now dotted with people. They were busy clearing debris and rebuilding their lives. The air was filled with the sounds of hammers and saws, of voices raised in determination. Emma walked alongside Lucas, her eyes scanning the faces of the townspeople. She looked for anyone who might have seen Thomas or heard news of him. But the faces were unfamiliar, each one marked by the trials of the past weeks. They reached the center of town where a makeshift meeting point had been set up. People gathered here to share news and offer help. Emma felt a glimmer of hope. Someone here might have information about Thomas. Emma approached a group of women who were sorting supplies. She asked if they knew anything about Thomas Whitaker. The women exchanged glances, their expressions somber. One of them, an older woman with kind eyes, stepped forward. She explained that Thomas had been among those lost in the flood. Emma felt a wave of grief wash over her. She had feared this news, but hearing it confirmed was a blow. Lucas stood beside her, a steady presence as she absorbed the loss. Emma thanked the woman, her voice quiet but steady. She turned to Lucas, who nodded in understanding. The rest of the day passed in a blur. Emma and Lucas helped where they could, moving debris and distributing supplies. The townspeople were grateful for their help, though Emma felt like a stranger among them. Her mind was elsewhere, turning over the news of Thomas's fate. As the sun began to set, Lucas suggested they return to the cabin. Emma agreed, knowing she needed time to process everything. The walk back was silent, the weight of the day heavy on her shoulders. Back at the cabin, Emma sat by the fire, lost in thought. She had come to Clearview with dreams of a new life, only to have them shattered. But she knew she couldn't dwell on what was lost. She had to find a way to move forward. Lucas sat across from her, his gaze steady and reassuring. He didn't press her to talk, giving her the space she needed. Emma appreciated his quiet support, the way he seemed to understand without words. After a while, Emma spoke. She shared her memories of Thomas, the plans they had made. It was painful to recall, but she knew she needed to let it out. Lucas listened, nodding occasionally as she spoke. Emma realized that she had a choice to make. She could stay in Clearview, try to build a life here without Thomas. Or she could leave, search for a new beginning elsewhere. It was a difficult decision, one she didn't have to make right away. But she knew she couldn't stay in limbo forever. The fire crackled, filling the cabin with warmth. Emma felt a sense of calm, a certainty that she would find her way through this. She had faced loss before and had always found a way to move forward. This time would be no different. Lucas spoke, his voice low and thoughtful. He encouraged Emma to take her time to find what felt right for her. He offered his support whatever path she chose. Emma was grateful for his words, for the friendship they had formed. In the days that followed, Emma and Lucas continued to help the townspeople. They worked side by side, their bond growing stronger with each shared task. Emma found comfort in the routine, the sense of purpose it gave her. She began to see Clearview in a new light. Though marked by loss, the town was filled with resilience and determination. The people here had faced great challenges, yet they were rebuilding with hope and strength. Emma felt inspired by their spirit, and she wondered if she could find a place among them. One afternoon, as she and Lucas took a break from work, Emma shared her thoughts. She told him she was considering staying in Clearview, at least for a while. She wanted to honor Thomas's memory by helping the town he had called home. Lucas nodded, his expression approving. He offered his support, promising to stand by her decision. Emma felt a sense of relief, knowing she wasn't alone in this journey. As the days turned into weeks, Emma found herself becoming part of the community. She formed friendships with the townspeople, sharing stories and laughter. She felt a sense of belonging, a feeling she hadn't expected to find here. Emma and Lucas continued their work, helping to rebuild homes and lives. Their bond deepened, rooted in shared experiences and mutual respect. Emma realized that, despite the loss she had faced, she had found something new and meaningful. With each passing day, Emma felt her grief begin to ease. She knew she would always carry the memory of Thomas with her, but she was ready to embrace the future. She had learned that life was unpredictable, but it was also filled with moments of beauty and connection. As she stood at the edge of town one evening, watching the sunset, Emma felt a sense of peace. She had found a new path, one she hadn't expected but was grateful for. With Lucas by her side and the town of Clearview around her, she was ready to face whatever came next. Emma and Lucas settled into a routine in Clearview. Their days were filled with hard work, rebuilding the town and supporting the community. Emma felt a growing sense of purpose, her grief for Thomas slowly softening into fond memories. In the evenings, after a long day of labor, they would sit by the fire in the cabin. The warmth of the flames was comforting, a welcome respite from the challenges they faced each day. It was during these quiet moments that Emma and Lucas began to share more about their pasts. Emma spoke of her childhood, her family, and the life she had left behind to be with Thomas. She recounted stories of laughter and love, moments that shaped who she was. Lucas listened intently, offering silent support as she shared her memories. One evening, as the fire crackled softly, Lucas decided to share his own story. His voice was calm and steady, but Emma could sense the weight of the memories he carried. He spoke of his time as a ranger, the dangers he had faced, and the scars he bore as reminders of those days. Lucas described a life marked by violence and loss. He had seen friends fall in battle, had experienced the harsh realities of a world where danger lurked at every turn. Emma listened, her heart heavy with empathy for the struggles he had endured. Lucas explained his decision to leave the Rangers. He had grown weary of the constant fight, the endless cycle of conflict. He had wanted something more, a life beyond the battlefield. Emma understood his desire for peace, for a chance to find meaning beyond the violence. As Lucas spoke, Emma felt a deeper connection to him. They were both searching for a new path, a way to move forward from the losses they had experienced. She admired his strength, his determination to find a better life. Their conversations became a source of comfort, a way to process the past and look to the future. Emma found that sharing her burdens with Lucas made them feel lighter. She was grateful for his understanding, for the bond they were building together. One afternoon, as they worked side by side repairing a damaged roof, Emma felt a sense of contentment. The sun was warm on her back, and the sound of hammers filled the air. She realized that, despite the hardships, she was happy. She had found a place where she belonged, surrounded by people she cared about. Lucas paused in his work, looking out over the town. He spoke of his hopes for the future, for a life filled with peace and purpose. Emma felt a surge of hope, a belief that they could build something meaningful in Clearview. As the days passed, Emma and Lucas grew closer. Their friendship deepened, rooted in shared experiences and mutual respect. They supported each other through the challenges they faced, finding strength in their partnership. Emma found herself looking forward to their evenings by the fire, the conversations that brought them closer together. She felt a sense of safety with Lucas, a feeling she hadn't expected to find after losing Thomas. One night, as they sat together, Emma realized that her feelings for Lucas had grown. She cared for him deeply, more than she had thought possible. It was a realization that filled her with both joy and uncertainty. Emma wondered if Lucas felt the same way, if he too had found something more in their friendship. She was hesitant to speak of her feelings, afraid of disrupting the balance they had found. But she knew that honesty was important, that they needed to be open with each other. As the fire burned low, Emma gathered her courage. She spoke softly, telling Lucas of the feelings that had grown within her. She explained that she valued their friendship deeply, but that her heart had begun to hope for more. Lucas listened, his expression thoughtful. Emma held her breath, waiting for his response. She hadn't realized how much his words would mean to her, how much she hoped for his understanding. After a moment, Lucas spoke. He admitted that he too had felt a change, a shift in his feelings for Emma. He valued their friendship, their partnership, and the moments they had shared. He hadn't been sure how to express it, but he was grateful for Emma's honesty. Emma felt a wave of relief, a sense of joy at Lucas's words. She realized that they were both navigating new territory, but they were doing it together. Their bond was strong, a foundation they could build upon. In the days that followed, Emma and Lucas continued their work in the town. Their relationship grew, rooted in the trust and understanding they had built. They faced each challenge with determination, knowing they had each other to lean on. Emma felt a sense of peace, a belief that she was where she was meant to be. She had found a new beginning in Clearview, a life filled with purpose and love. With Lucas by her side, she was ready to face whatever the future held. As the sun set over the town, Emma stood with Lucas, watching the sky change colors. She felt a sense of gratitude for the journey that had brought her here, for the man who had become her partner and her friend. Together, they looked to the future with hope and determination, ready to build a life together in the place they had come to call home. Emma and Lucas continued their work in the town of Clearview, their days filled with rebuilding and supporting their neighbors. The town was slowly coming back to life, but beneath the surface, tensions were rising. Emma sensed the unease among the townspeople, whispers of conflict that threatened to disrupt the fragile peace. Clearview was divided. Two powerful families, the Carter family and the Harris family, were vying for control of the town's future. Their disputes over land and resources had been simmering for years, and the recent flood had only intensified their rivalry. Emma found herself caught in the middle of this feud. She had formed friendships with people on both sides, and she understood the importance of unity for the town's recovery. She wanted to help bridge the divide, but she knew it would not be easy. Lucas, too, was drawn into the conflict. His loyalty to Emma and his growing ties to the community placed him in a difficult position. He had always preferred to remain neutral, but the situation demanded action. He knew that standing by and doing nothing was no longer an option. As tensions escalated, Emma and Lucas discussed their options. They knew they needed to find a way to bring the town together to encourage cooperation instead of conflict. Emma suggested organizing a town meeting, a chance for everyone to voice their concerns and work toward a solution. Lucas agreed, recognizing the importance of open communication. They began reaching out to both families, inviting them to the meeting and emphasizing the need for unity. Some were receptive while others were more skeptical, but Emma and Lucas remained determined. The day of the meeting arrived and the town gathered in the square. The atmosphere was tense, charged with the weight of unspoken grievances. Emma and Lucas stood together, prepared to mediate and guide the discussion. Emma spoke first, her voice steady and clear. She acknowledged the challenges the town faced and the importance of working together. She urged the families to set aside their differences to focus on what was best for Clearview as a whole. Lucas followed, his words measured and thoughtful. He spoke of his experiences as a ranger, the lessons he had learned about cooperation and trust. He emphasized the need for unity, for finding common ground in the face of adversity. The townspeople listened, their expressions a mix of skepticism and hope. Emma could see the doubt in some eyes, the reluctance to let go of old grudges. But she also saw glimmers of understanding, a willingness to consider a new path forward. As the meeting progressed, members of both families began to speak. They shared their concerns, their hopes for the future, and their desire to protect their loved ones. Emma and Lucas listened patiently, guiding the conversation and encouraging constructive dialogue. It was not an easy process. Decades of rivalry and resentment could not be resolved in a single meeting. But Emma felt a sense of progress, a small step toward healing the divides that had plagued the town for so long. As the meeting drew to a close, Emma and Lucas thanked everyone for their participation. They encouraged the townspeople to continue the dialogue, to work together for the good of Clearview. It was a message of hope, a call to action that resonated with many. In the days that followed, Emma and Lucas continued their efforts to foster unity. They organized community events, opportunities for people to come together and build new relationships. They encouraged cooperation on rebuilding projects, emphasizing the importance of teamwork. Emma felt a sense of purpose, a belief that they were making a difference. She saw small signs of change, moments of kindness and cooperation that gave her hope for the future. It was a slow process, but she was determined to see it through. Lucas remained by her side, his presence a source of strength and support. He admired Emma's determination, her ability to inspire others and bring people together. He was proud to stand with her, to be part of the effort to heal the town. As the weeks passed, Emma and Lucas saw progress. The town was slowly coming together, the divisions beginning to fade. It was not a perfect solution, but it was a start. Emma felt a sense of satisfaction, knowing they were on the right path. One afternoon, as they worked on a community garden, Emma took a moment to reflect. She thought about the journey that had brought her here, the challenges she had faced, and the new life she had built. She was grateful for the support of the community, for the friendships she had formed, and for the partnership she had found with Lucas. Emma knew there would be more challenges ahead, but she felt ready to face them. With Lucas by her side and the town of Clearview behind her, she was confident in their ability to overcome whatever obstacles lay ahead. As the sun set over the town, Emma and Lucas stood together, watching the sky change colors. They felt a sense of accomplishment, a belief that they were part of something greater than themselves. Together, they had helped to bring new life to Clearview, a testament to the power of resilience, friendship, and hope. After weeks of hard work and progress, a new challenge emerged in Clearview. A sudden drought gripped the region, leaving the town and its people desperate for water. The rivers and wells, once full and reliable, began to dry up. The crops withered, and the livestock suffered. The situation grew dire, and the community was on edge. Emma and Lucas were among those trying to find solutions. They helped ration the remaining water and explored ways to conserve what little they had. But it was not enough. The town needed a new source of water, and they needed it soon. Rumors spread of a distant spring, a place that might hold the town's only hope. The journey to the spring was long and fraught with natural obstacles. It would be a difficult trek, but Emma and Lucas knew they had to try. The town depended on them, and they were willing to face whatever challenges lay ahead. Emma and Lucas prepared for the journey, gathering supplies and planning their route. The townspeople offered what little they could spare, grateful for their willingness to take on the task. Emma felt a sense of responsibility, a determination to succeed for the sake of the community. Early one morning, Emma and Lucas set off. The air was dry and the sun beat down on them as they walked. The path was rough, the ground cracked and parched from the lack of rain. Emma could feel the heat through her boots, each step a reminder of the urgency of their mission. As they traveled, Emma and Lucas faced many challenges. The land was unforgiving, filled with rocky terrain and steep climbs. They had to navigate carefully, each step requiring focus and precision. Emma felt the strain on her body, but she pushed forward, driven by the knowledge that the town was counting on them. Lucas was a steady presence by her side, his experience as a ranger proving invaluable. He guided them through difficult passages, his instincts sharp and reliable. Emma was grateful for his leadership, his ability to find a way even when the path seemed impossible. The journey tested them both, physically and emotionally. They faced moments of doubt and fear, times when the spring seemed like an unattainable goal. But they also found strength in each other, their bond growing as they overcame each obstacle together. During a break, Emma took a moment to reflect. She thought about the people of Clearview, the friends and community she had come to love. She knew they were depending on her and Lucas, and that knowledge fueled her determination. She was not just fighting for survival, she was fighting for a future. As they continued, Emma and Lucas shared stories and memories, moments of lightness that lifted their spirits. They spoke of their hopes for Clearview, their dreams for a better life. It was a reminder of why they were on this journey, a motivation to keep moving forward despite the odds. Finally, after days of travel, they reached the spring. The sight of water was a relief, a promise of life in the midst of the barren landscape. Emma and Lucas approached with caution, assessing the spring's capacity and potential. It was not a large source, but it was enough to make a difference. Emma felt a surge of hope. They had found the water the town so desperately needed. It was a victory not just for them, but for everyone in Clearview. She and Lucas quickly filled their containers, knowing they had to return as soon as possible. The journey back was just as challenging, but Emma felt a renewed sense of purpose. She carried the weight of the water, but also the hope of a community. Lucas was by her side, his presence a constant source of support and encouragement. As they neared Clearview, Emma felt a mix of exhaustion and anticipation. The town came into view and she could see people gathered, waiting for their return. The sight filled her with emotion, a reminder of the importance of their mission. When they arrived, the townspeople greeted them with relief and gratitude. Emma and Lucas distributed the water, their efforts met with cheers and thanks. It was a moment of triumph, a testament to their perseverance and commitment. Emma felt a deep sense of satisfaction knowing they had made a difference. The drought was not over, but they had found a way to help. The community had come together, united in their efforts to survive and thrive. In the days that followed, Emma and Lucas continued their work, helping the town manage the water supply and plan for the future. The experience had strengthened their bond, reinforcing their partnership and shared vision for Clearview. Emma knew there would be more challenges ahead, but she felt ready to face them. She had learned the power of resilience, the importance of community, and the strength of love and friendship. With Lucas by her side, she was confident in their ability to overcome whatever obstacles came their way. As the sun set on Clearview, Emma stood with Lucas, the town bustling with renewed energy. They had faced the drought and emerged stronger, a testament to the power of hope and determination. Together, they looked to the future, ready to build a life filled with possibility and promise. Emma and Lucas returned to Clearview with the water, but the town's troubles were not over. The drought had left everyone tense and anxious, and old grudges simmered beneath the surface. Conflicts over land and resources threatened to ignite, and the fragile peace they had worked to build seemed at risk. Emma sensed the unease in the air, the way people looked at each other with suspicion. She knew that they had to act quickly to prevent the situation from spiraling into violence. The community had come too far to let old rivalries tear it apart. Lucas was aware of the tension as well. He had seen similar situations before, where desperation led to conflict. He and Emma talked about what they could do to help, how they could use their influence to calm the growing unrest. Emma suggested another town meeting, a chance for everyone to voice their concerns and work toward a peaceful resolution. Lucas agreed, knowing that open communication was crucial. They began reaching out to the community, inviting everyone to come together once more. The meeting was held in the town square, and the tension was palpable as people gathered. Emma and Lucas stood at the front, ready to guide the discussion and keep it focused on finding solutions. They knew this was a pivotal moment for Clearview. Emma spoke first, her voice calm and steady. She acknowledged the challenges the town faced, the fear and uncertainty that had taken hold. But she also reminded everyone of the progress they had made, the strength they had shown during the drought. She urged them to remember their shared goals, to set aside personal grievances for the good of the community. Lucas followed, his words measured and thoughtful. He spoke of his experiences as a ranger, the importance of working together in difficult times. He emphasized the need for unity, for finding common ground in the face of adversity. His presence was reassuring, a steady anchor in the storm of emotions. As the meeting progressed, members of the Carter and Harris families began to speak. They expressed their fears and frustrations, their desire to protect their own. Emma and Lucas listened patiently, guiding the conversation and encouraging constructive dialogue. It was not easy. Decades of rivalry and resentment could not be resolved in a single meeting. Voices rose and tempers flared, but Emma and Lucas remained composed, urging everyone to focus on solutions. They knew they had to be patient to allow space for healing. Emma felt the weight of responsibility, the hope of the town resting on her shoulders. She was determined to help them find a way forward to prevent the violence that seemed so close. She drew strength from Lucas, from their partnership and shared vision for Clearview. As the meeting continued, something began to shift. People listened to each other, their words more measured and respectful. The tension in the air eased, replaced by a sense of possibility. Emma could see the change in their faces, the willingness to consider a new path. The meeting ended with a commitment to work together, to find ways to share resources and support each other. It was not a perfect solution, but it was a start. Emma felt a sense of relief, a belief that they had taken an important step toward healing. In the days that followed, Emma and Lucas continued their efforts to foster unity. They organized community events, opportunities for people to come together and build new relationships. They encouraged cooperation on rebuilding projects, emphasizing the importance of teamwork. Emma felt a renewed sense of purpose, a belief that they were making a difference. She saw small signs of change, moments of kindness and cooperation that gave her hope for the future. It was a slow process, but she was determined to see it through. Lucas remained by her side, his presence a source of strength and support. He admired Emma's determination, her ability to inspire others and bring people together. He was proud to stand with her, to be part of the effort to heal the town. As the weeks passed, Emma and Lucas saw progress. The town was slowly coming together, the divisions beginning to fade. It was not a perfect solution, but it was a start. Emma felt a sense of satisfaction knowing they were on the right path. One afternoon, as they worked on a community garden, Emma took a moment to reflect. She thought about the journey that had brought her here, the challenges she had faced, and the new life she had built. She was grateful for the support of the community, for the friendships she had formed, and for the partnership she had found with Lucas. Emma knew there would be more challenges ahead, but she felt ready to face them. She had learned the power of resilience, the importance of community, and the strength of love and friendship. With Lucas by her side, she was confident in their ability to overcome whatever obstacles came their way. As the sun set over Clearview, Emma stood with Lucas, watching the sky change colors. They felt a sense of accomplishment, a belief that they were part of something greater than themselves. Together, they had helped to bring new life to Clearview, a testament to the power of resilience, friendship, and hope. With the tensions in Clearview starting to ease, Emma and Lucas turned their focus to rebuilding. The town had endured much, but there was still work to be done. Homes needed repair, and the community needed to come together to ensure a brighter future. Emma and Lucas took on leadership roles, organizing efforts to repair the damage left by the flood and drought. They worked tirelessly, motivating others to join them in the task of rebuilding. Their dedication inspired the townspeople, who rallied together with renewed energy and hope. Emma felt a sense of purpose as they worked. Each task completed, each home repaired, was a step toward creating a stronger, more united community. She saw the spirit of cooperation growing, neighbors helping neighbors, old grudges forgotten in the face of shared goals. Lucas was a constant source of support. His skills and experience were invaluable, guiding the rebuilding efforts with precision and care. He taught others how to strengthen their homes, showing them techniques to withstand future challenges. Emma admired his ability to lead by example, his calm presence reassuring in the midst of chaos. As they worked, Emma found herself thinking about the future. She had come to Clearview seeking a new beginning, and she had found it. The town, once a place of uncertainty and loss, had become her home. She felt a deep connection to the community, a sense of belonging that filled her with gratitude. Emma also thought about her relationship with Lucas. Their bond had grown stronger, rooted in the trials they had faced together. She felt a deep love for him, a partnership built on trust and mutual respect. It was a relationship unlike any she had known, one that filled her with hope and happiness. One afternoon, as they took a break from their work, Emma and Lucas talked about their plans for the future. They shared their dreams for Clearview, their hopes for a peaceful and prosperous community. They spoke of the families they wanted to build, the life they envisioned together. Emma felt a sense of excitement as they talked. She knew there would be challenges ahead, but she was ready to face them with Lucas by her side. Together, they had overcome so much, and she had no doubt they could handle whatever the future held. As the weeks passed, Clearview began to transform. Homes were rebuilt, gardens flourished, and the community grew stronger with each passing day. Emma saw the pride in the faces of the townspeople, the sense of accomplishment that came from working together. The town square, once a place of tension and conflict, became a hub of activity and joy. People gathered to celebrate their progress, to share stories and laughter. Emma felt a deep sense of satisfaction, knowing she had played a part in bringing the town together. Lucas was by her side, his presence a constant source of strength and encouragement. He shared in her joy, his smile reflecting the happiness they had found in each other and in the community they had helped to rebuild. Emma and Lucas continued to lead by example, fostering a spirit of cooperation and unity. They encouraged others to take on leadership roles, to share their skills and knowledge for the benefit of all. The community responded with enthusiasm, eager to contribute to the town's future. Emma felt a deep sense of fulfillment as she watched the town flourish. She had found her place in Clearview, a life filled with purpose and love. The journey had been difficult, but it had led her to a place she was proud to call home. As the seasons changed, Emma and Lucas prepared for the future. They knew there would be more challenges, but they were ready to face them together. Their love and partnership had become the foundation of a life filled with possibility and promise. One evening, as they watched the sun set over the town, Emma felt a sense of peace. She had found everything she had been searching for: a community, a partner, and a future filled with hope. With Lucas by her side, she knew she could face anything that came their way. In the heart of Clearview, Emma had discovered the power of resilience, the importance of community, and the strength of love. She was ready to embrace the future, confident in the knowledge that she was exactly where she was meant to be. Together, Emma and Lucas stood hand in hand, looking out over the town they had helped to rebuild. They felt a deep sense of gratitude for the journey that had brought them here and for the life they had created together. As the stars appeared in the night sky, they knew that their future was bright and filled with endless possibilities. As spring arrived in Clearview, the town seemed to wake up with new energy. Flowers bloomed and the fields turned a vibrant green. The air was fresh and filled with the sounds of birds returning. It was a season of renewal, a time for new beginnings. Emma and Lucas embraced the change, excited for what lay ahead. They had worked hard to help the town recover, and now it was time to focus on their future. They had dreams of expanding the community garden, organizing events, and building a life together. Emma had found a sense of purpose in Clearview, a place where she could contribute and make a difference. The community had become her family, and she was grateful for the friendships she had formed. She felt a deep connection to the town, a place where she had found healing and hope. Lucas shared Emma's vision for the future. He wanted to see Clearview thrive, to be a place where people could come together and support one another. He had found a home here, a place where he could use his skills to help others and build a better life. Together, Emma and Lucas planned for the days ahead. They talked about expanding the community garden, planting new crops, and organizing events to bring the town together. They wanted to create a space where everyone felt welcome, where people could gather and celebrate their achievements. As they worked, Emma and Lucas also made plans for their personal life. They talked about starting a family, building a home, and creating a life filled with love and laughter. Emma felt a sense of excitement as they discussed their dreams, knowing that they were building a future together. Emma found joy in the small moments, the simple pleasures of life in Clearview. She loved the sound of children playing in the streets, the smell of fresh bread from the bakery, and the warmth of the sun on her face. These were the moments that made life special, the memories she would cherish. Lucas felt the same. He appreciated the quiet strength of the community, the way people came together to support each other. He was proud of what they had accomplished, and he looked forward to the future with hope and determination. As the months passed, Emma and Lucas continued to work tirelessly for the good of the town. They organized community events, bringing people together to celebrate their achievements and plan for the future. They planted new crops in the garden, ensuring a bountiful harvest for the coming year. The town flourished under their leadership, and Emma felt a deep sense of satisfaction. She knew that they had made a difference, that they had helped to create a community filled with hope and resilience. She was grateful for the journey that had brought her here, for the life she had built with Lucas. Emma and Lucas also focused on their personal goals, building a life filled with love and happiness. They shared their dreams for the future, talked about starting a family, and made plans for their home. Emma felt a sense of peace, knowing that she was exactly where she was meant to be. One evening, as they watched the sunset over the town, Emma and Lucas reflected on their journey. They had faced many challenges, but they had overcome them together. Their love had grown stronger, rooted in trust and mutual respect. They felt a deep sense of gratitude for the life they had built, for the community they had helped to heal. Emma knew that there would be more challenges ahead, but she was ready to face them with Lucas by her side. They had created a life filled with purpose and love, a future filled with endless possibilities. Together, they were building a legacy for the town of Clearview, a testament to the power of resilience and hope. As the stars appeared in the night sky, Emma and Lucas felt a sense of peace. They had found everything they had been searching for, a community, a partner, and a future filled with promise. With each other, they knew they could face anything that came their way. In the heart of Clearview, Emma had discovered the strength of love, the importance of community, and the power of hope. She was ready to embrace the future, confident in the knowledge that she was exactly where she was meant to be. Together, Emma and Lucas stood hand in hand, looking out over the town they had helped to rebuild. They felt a deep sense of gratitude for the journey that had brought them here and for the life they had created together. As they gazed at the stars, they knew that their future was bright and filled with endless possibilities. If you loved the story, like the video and subscribe.